What's happening, everybody? I'm Adam Nicholson, and directly behind me is the brand new 2022 Norco Range Vlt. And if you've been reading forums or looking at any magazines or online, baby's got back. 28 kilos out of the box, which if you're looking at e-bikes, it is not just on the heavy side, it sets a new limit for the heavy side. Full transparency, when I went to lift it out of the box to build the bike, I definitely thought ATA, so Advanced Traders Australia, I thought they'd stitched me up. I thought they had cable tied it into the box. That's how heavy the bike felt. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a deterrent on the trail. So stay tuned and we'll talk about why. The other two things that I want to talk about on this bike are the most asked questions that I've had while out riding this bike. The limousine-esque, so very long chain stays on this bike. 462 millimeter chain stays, which comparatively with other e-bikes out there are incredibly long. It's kind of like a stretch limousine. Is it a detractor or is it a positive? Let's find out while we're out there. And the third most asked topic is about the battery size that I'm running in this bike. Now, when you buy a Norco nowadays, you have 3 different options of battery size. It will dictate the price of the bike. You walk into your retailer, purchase a bike, and then you can purchase the battery size that's going to suit your needs. 540 watt hours is the smallest of the size, which is a very respectable size battery nowadays. 720 watt hours is the mid-size, which you would be class leading. But Norco took it a step further and they've gone to 900 watt hours, which is an absolute monster. And let me tell you, this is the very first e-bike out of all the e-bikes that I've ridden that I've taken home from the first ride and not bothered to charge. I am now on my 3rd consecutive ride on this bike without charging it. It is a hell of a lot of time in the saddle. Do not worry about range anxiety anymore because Norco has absolutely solved that issue. 900 watt hours in a 28 kilo e-bike running a Shimano EP8 motor, which has 85 Newton meters of torque. We are going to go through the whole thing. Stay tuned and we'll see if we can cover over all those topics. All right, thanks for riding with me. Let's go have some fun. While riding the Norco Range Vlt over the last couple of days out at Smithfield Mountain Bike Park, I've had quite a few interested questions, and those questions have been, number 1, aren't the chain stays on this bike too long? Well, you know, I talked about it earlier, 462 millimeters long, comparatively to other e-bikes. That is monstrously long. However, I've noticed there's a couple of really good things about this bike. 1, the stability. The bike is more stable than any e-bike that I've ever ridden, which is a massive positive. And let me just talk about that stability for a second. I'm climbing an ascent right now, which is gravelly and rocky, and I'm doing it one-handed. The thing that I like the most about this bike, and it's something I've never been able to do on an e-bike before, is I can, with my seat up, come to a stop on a steep ascent, rocky, gravelly, come to a stop and know with confidence that I'm just going to be able to start again. All the other e-bikes that I ride will torque wheelie, and I've got to be basically chewing on the handlebars to prevent that. This bike just makes it a breeze. So, brakes on, foot on the pedal, ready to go. All I do is take the brakes off, start pedaling, and the bike just climbs. It's like magic. This is one of the more challenging corners. Now, other e-bikes that I have, you have to use all of the real estate just there. Drop's quite big just there. One-handed still up this climb, and I'm blown away at how easy this is. The long rear end on this bike keeps the bike so balanced, like nothing I've ever ridden before. Sorry, oh, sorry little fella, didn't want to run you over. So any of you that aren't from this region probably see the little goanna sitting up on the tree there. You don't want him to climb you. I'd much rather he climbs that tree. A lot of very tight turns right now. And hopefully you guys can see just what I'm talking about when I say how well stuck to the ground this bike is, because it just rails these turns. I mean, the back end on my regular e-bike, it would be stepping out. And it's a full powered e-bike. Well, there you have it, guys. What a fantastic package that Norco has put together for the 2022 Norco Range Vlt. This bike, Fox equipment throughout, so Fox 38 performance forks on the front, running a Fox DHX on the rear, which has high speed and low speed compression, high speed and low speed rebound. As an entire package, there's only a couple of things that I can fault with this bike, and we'll talk about those in just a second. My overall ride experience, the 900 watt hour battery is is a must. That would be the go-to battery for me if I was to be purchasing this bike. The weight of the bike, while some might see it as a bit of a detractor on paper, when you're riding it, the confidence that it gives you, whether you're climbing or descending, I don't see it as a detractor. If you have to lift it in and out of the back of the truck, I'm sure you'll persevere. What a really well put together bike. Shimano equipped throughout, SLX rear derailleur, 12-speed Dior shifter, E13 wheels, E13 downhill wheels with a Maxxis 2.5 tyre. I did have to change the stem. I'm 6'1". This bike for a large has quite a short front center, which is 475 millimeters. And I ran a Renthal bar because it's 31.8 rather than the 35 that was on there. The Trans X Rad Plus seat post, what a great feature. You can adjust with this hand tooling knurled section, so you can adjust the travel. So if you have more than one people riding this bike, you can adjust the travel rather than having to undo the seat collar and pull cables out and all that junk that goes along with it. So great feature there. E13 chain guide, the whole bike has been spec'd really, really well. Is there anything that I didn't like about this bike? Yeah, sure. When I descend, I ride with my right foot backwards. Size 43 shoe, and I noticed that my shoe on cornering was flicking on the chain guide just here, the chain guard, sorry, just here, and making an audible noise. Now this is a sample model. This is a pre-production bike, so chances are the production bike won't have that issue. If it does, a cable tie will solve that problem, so not a lot of issue there. The only other thing that I didn't like about the bike is I think it is a little bit under-braked for my liking. However, anyone that rides with me knows that I have a bit of hatred for Shimano brakes, so that's probably my own doing. What a great package. Is it my favorite e-bike on the market at the moment? No, it's not. But take into consideration that my favorite e-bike on the market is worth twice as much as this bike. So in the realm of $24,000 for the bike that I favor. So at $10 and some thousand, bang for buck, this is an incredible piece of machinery. Anyone that was thinking about one of these, I recommend you head down to your local Norco retailer and ask some questions about the bike, because it really is a great bike. It looks chunky. It makes Fox 38s look small, which is phenomenal in my book. Norco, you've done a great job. Massive tick from me. Really appreciate you setting the bike up. Had a lot of fun on this. Well guys, thanks for coming along for a ride. I'm out. I'm going to head back up to the trail. Enjoy your ride out there. See you next time. Peace.